While some quietly accumulate wealth, others remain trapped in a cycle of debt and financial frustration. The difference rarely lies in luck or talent. It is born from the silent habits that, over the years, build or destroy entire futures. Today, we will explore behaviors that act as financial anchors and show how those who achieve success have learned to free themselves from these invisible traps. This video was created for those who are ready to see reality in a raw and transformative way. Based on research in financial education and the consistent habits of millionaires and successful investors, we will reveal 7 patterns that keep most people stagnant and teach how to reverse this trajectory. If the goal is true financial freedom, understanding and acting on these principles is simply non-negotiable. The secret isn't how much you work, it's how well you understand the game. Welcome to Army Capital. I am Dominus, and on this channel you will uncover the secrets and the paths to achieve your financial independence. The greatest obstacle to building wealth is not the lack of opportunities, but rather persistence in financial habits that sabotage any chance of progress. Millions of people live in a pattern where money comes in and goes out at the same speed, never building anything solid. This reality, often accepted as normal, hides an even bigger problem: the lack of awareness about how small daily actions shape long-term financial destiny. Without realizing it, many perpetuate behaviors that block asset accumulation, limit income growth, and suffocate the ability to invest in their own future. This video will reveal 7 of these destructive habits, detailing how they manifest and the silent impact they cause over the years. More than just identifying the problem, we will present practical and proven strategies that wealthy people use to avoid them. Each chapter will be a key piece in transforming your view of money, investments, and financial mindset. In the end, the difference between continuing in the cycle of mediocrity or walking the path to financial freedom will be much clearer and completely within your reach. Have you ever stopped to think that the simple act of spending before investing might be what is preventing you from building wealth? For many people, the cycle is automatic. The salary arrives, bills are paid, desires are fulfilled, and if anything is left over, maybe they invest. But let's be honest, how often is there really anything left? Now imagine if the investment came before any spending. That is exactly how financially successful people operate. Before thinking about rent, credit cards, or weekend dinners, they have already allocated part of what they earn to investments. This practice, known as paying yourself first, is not just a tip. It is a game changer between those who merely survive and those who thrive. Have you ever felt that even as you earn more, the money simply disappears? This is the effect of not prioritizing investment. When the focus is solely on present expenses, the future ends up being constantly postponed and often never realized. Investing first creates a virtuous cycle that few experience. And it doesn't have to be much. Small, consistent contributions can silently generate fortunes thanks to the power of compound interest. What if I told you that the difference between financial freedom and frustration could start with a simple monthly decision? You know that moment when an unexpected opportunity appears, like a business, a property, a lucrative investment. But there's no capital to act? Rich people prepare for these moments. It's not luck, it's strategy. They know that investing first is about building future opportunities while still living in the present. How many times have you thought, "Oh, when I earn more, I'll invest"? The truth is that the habit comes before the income increase. Those who adopt this mindset now, even with little, are already on the right path to multiplying their results tomorrow. Think with me. What if, starting today, you treated investing not as an option, but as a personal, non-negotiable obligation? What kind of future would you be silently building while so many others are still living month to month, as if it were the only possible horizon? Have you noticed how most people place all their financial stability in the hands of just one source of income? A job, a fixed salary, a single line of payment. It seems comfortable at first, but it's like building a castle on sand. One unforeseen event, a layoff, a crisis, and everything collapses overnight. Wealthy people see income differently. They not only diversify their investments, but also their sources of financial inflow, their own businesses, dividends, royalties, real estate, digital assets. All of these create a robust safety net that continues to operate even when one pillar fails. And what if I told you that building multiple sources of income is more accessible than it seems? The fear of starting something new is real. Have you ever thought that creating another source of income requires time, money, or skills you might not yet have? But the truth is that every small initiative, whether it's freelance work, a content channel, or consistent investments in real estate funds, can be the seed of a greater transformation. You know that old saying, never put all your eggs in one basket? In finance, this phrase becomes even more critical. Relying exclusively on a salary is handing over control of your financial life to factors you don't command. Does it really make sense to risk your entire future on such a fragile bet? And the most interesting thing is that diversifying income also transforms your mindset. When you start seeing money coming from different places, something changes. Your security grows, your financial creativity expands, and the fear of losing your job, which used to be paralyzing, loses its power. Have you ever felt that no matter how hard you work, you're always vulnerable to external factors? That's the effect of depending on a single source. True freedom begins when you build your life on several solid foundations, not on one unstable pillar. Just imagine if a few years from now, you had 3, 4, 5 sources of income working for you. What would your sense of security be like? What would your ability to choose where, how, and why to work look like? This isn't just a distant fantasy. It's the direct result of decisions that can start today with small but consistent steps. You know that discomfort many people feel just from hearing about investments, budgeting, or assets. For many, talking about money is almost an emotional taboo. It's easier to avoid the subject, leave it for tomorrow, or simply believe that it's not for me. But think with me. How can you build something solid if you don't even face the foundations? The truth is that ignoring personal finances doesn't make the problems disappear. It only lets them grow silently. Have you ever thought that the fear of opening your bank statement, planning your expenses, or studying investments might be exactly what keeps so many people stuck in the same place? Wealthy people face this resistance head-on. They understand that the initial discomfort is temporary, but the knowledge gained is liberating. Instead of running from the numbers, they use them as allies. They analyze investments, plan strategically, study trends, and most importantly, maintain control even in tough scenarios. Can you remember a time when you avoided dealing with a financial problem, only to see it become even bigger later? That's exactly how neglect works. It turns small issues into major barriers, undermining the stability that could have been preserved with quick action. Imagine if facing financial reality were seen as a gesture of power, not a burden. Every spreadsheet opened, every study done, every conscious financial decision is a concrete step toward a freer life. And on that path, the initial discomfort is a small price to pay. Have you ever wondered what separates those who move forward from those who stay stuck? In many cases, it's simply the courage to look at their own numbers without fear, guilt, or shame. Accepting where you are today is the only way to reach where you want to be tomorrow. Think about this. While many continue to avoid their bank statements as if they were villains, true wealth builders treat them as maps for growth. After all, those who know their numbers know their path. Is the pursuit of social status imprisoning you financially? Luxury cars, expensive watches, extravagant trips. All these may seem like signs of success, but they are often just a disguise of financial instability behind the scenes. How many people do you know who appear wealthy, but are suffocated by invisible debts? Truly wealthy people think differently. Instead of seeking the approval of others, they prioritize building freedom. They know that real power lies not in impressing on the surface, but in owning silent assets, solid investments, and having the peace of mind that their money works for them, not the other way around. Have you ever felt the pressure to spend just to keep up with what others seem to have? That pressure is real, but it's also one of the fastest shortcuts to financial slavery. Spending to appear rich is very different from spending to actually become rich. You know that moment when an impulsive purchase comes up just to maintain an image? That's where many compromise their future. Every installment taken on out of vanity is a piece of freedom that gets lost. Have you ever thought about what your life would be like if every financial decision were guided by wealth building instead of other people's opinions? The most curious thing is that silent millionaires, those who truly have freedom, are precisely the ones who avoid flaunting it. They drive regular cars, live in comfortable but not overly expensive homes, and live well below their means. Not because they can't spend, but because they know that security and autonomy are worth more than fleeting applause. And what if I told you that trading social status for financial freedom is one of the most powerful choices you can make? It's a less glamorous path in the short term, but infinitely more rewarding in the long term. After all, those who live to impress rarely manage to live to be free. Think with me. The next time you feel the temptation to spend to impress, ask yourself, am I investing in what really matters or just trying to fill a temporary void? This simple reflection could be the turning point for a new financial trajectory. Many people spend their entire lives trading hours of work for a fixed salary. They work to pay the bills, repeat the routine month after month, and without realizing it, end up trapped in a cycle where money is never enough. Have you ever thought that working only for money is like running on a treadmill that never stops and never leads anywhere? Wealthy people see work from a completely different perspective. Instead of just selling their time, they seek to create and deliver real value to the world. They know that the more value they generate, whether through businesses, products, services, or knowledge, the greater their financial reward will be, naturally and on a scalable level. Working only for money creates a dangerous dependency. If the salary disappears, so does the income. But when you work for value, new opportunities arise continuously. What if I told you that most great fortunes were built not just with hard work, but with intelligence in creating solutions that impact other people? The world rewards those who solve problems, who improve other people's lives, who deliver something beyond the bare minimum. It's this mindset that transforms small entrepreneurs into great business people, investors into millionaires, creators into market leaders. Just imagine if, instead of asking how much will I earn, you started asking how can I generate more value? This shift in focus, so simple in theory, can completely transform a career or business trajectory. Have you noticed how those who work only out of obligation generally feel exhausted, while those who work with purpose and vision feel energized even in the face of challenges? It's no coincidence. Working for value connects personal mission with wealth generation, creating a positive and sustainable cycle. The question remains, do you want to spend your life chasing a paycheck or build something that has its own value, that grows and thrives even without your constant presence? The answer to that question defines not just the bank balance, but the legacy each one leaves to the future. Have you ever felt like money simply evaporates and you don't know exactly where it went? This common feeling is a direct result of living without a clear budget and without financial planning. When there's no control, money silently slips away, leaving only frustration at the end of the month. Financially successful people treat their budget like a map. They don't see planning as a prison, but as a tool for freedom. They know exactly how much they earn, how much they spend, how much they invest, and how much they can risk. Without this kind of clarity, any financial dream ends up becoming just a distant illusion. Have you ever thought that the simple act of tracking your expenses, even in a basic way, can completely change your relationship with money? Being aware of where every cent is going is a first step toward making better, smarter choices aligned with your long-term goals. The budget doesn't have to be complicated. It can start simply. List fixed expenses, set savings goals, and track regularly. The difference lies in consistency. And what if I told you that the simple habit of reviewing your finances weekly already puts you ahead of most people? Imagine the peace of mind of knowing that your spending is under control, your savings are growing, and every purchase is made intentionally, not impulsively. This is the real feeling of security that financial planning brings, something that no salary raise alone can provide. What's interesting is that those who master their money also gain the freedom to say no to what doesn't add value, and yes, to opportunities that truly matter. Budgeting is not about limiting life. It's about expanding possibilities responsibly. Living without financial planning is like sailing without a compass. Any wind seems right, but rarely leads to where you really want to go. Planning, therefore, is taking command of your own destiny. How many times have you caught yourself thinking small, preferring the safety of the known over the potential of something greater? It's natural to want to avoid risks. But in finance, excessive caution can be just as damaging as recklessness. Thinking small limits not only your results, but also your own capacity to evolve financially. Wealthy people understand that growth requires risks, but calculated risks based on analysis, strategy, and preparation. They don't gamble blindly, but they also don't become paralyzed by fear. Instead of asking, what if it goes wrong? They ask, what if it goes right? This subtle shift in perspective is one of the invisible forces driving their achievements. You know that moment when an opportunity arises, an investment, a business, an innovative idea, but the first reaction is to pull back out of fear. That reflex is what keeps thousands of people in the same place for years. What if I told you that the difference between stagnation and growth is often simply the act of moving forward when most hesitate? Thinking small is also reflected in modest goals, timid plans, and decisions that prioritize maintaining the current status instead of creating something greater. Have you ever considered that the same efforts that today guarantee only survival could, with a different strategy, build something grand? The fear of making mistakes is real, but the cost of inaction is invisible and much greater in the long run. Those who avoid all risks never taste the sweetness of great achievements. On the other hand, those who study, prepare, and take wise risks create realities that once seemed unattainable. Imagine if you adopted a growth mindset with every decision, seeking not just what is comfortable, but what enhances your financial future. This shift in mindset opens doors that remain locked for those who live within their comfort zone. In short, thinking small keeps mediocrity alive. Thinking big, with responsibility, study, and courage, is what transforms possibilities into legacies. The question that remains is, which mindset will you choose to nurture from now on? The journey to financial freedom is not defined by giant leaps, but by small choices made repeatedly with awareness. Every adjusted habit, every decision made with a vision for the future, brings you closer to a reality where money is no longer a source of stress, but a tool for expanding possibilities. Have you ever thought about what it would be like to live without the constant weight of financial worry, being able to focus on what really matters to you? The truth is that no one builds wealth by accident. It takes intentionality, courage to change, and willingness to face your own mental limits. Each habit revealed here is, in fact, a silent invitation. The invitation to become someone who not only survives but thrives. The time to act is now, while the windows of opportunity are still open. Building true wealth is less about external circumstances and more about internal choices. Every day, you have the chance to break away from habits that keep millions trapped in mediocrity and adopt practices that silently build freedom, security, and legacy. It all starts with a decision not just to watch content like this, but to apply it to your life with determination. If this video made sense to you, don't let this moment pass by. Subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and share this content with someone who also needs to awaken to financial reality. Together, we will build a community of people who think big, act smartly, and transform knowledge into results. The future starts now, and it's yours to conquer. Now you know, not because someone gave it to you, but because you came looking for it. If you stay on this path, you'll stop chasing money and start making it chase you. This was another report from Army Capital. I'm Dominus, and I'm watching you.